Here I've got an empty program, and in this video, we're going to start taking an initial look at the mapping editor over here. So it displays the program's layers and key groups. And above the piano keyboard here, the key range is displayed horizontally and the velocity range is displayed vertically. Now, you've seen me drag and drop oscillators into here, and the vertical placement determines the range of the new key group that's going to be created as we drag and drop. And here I've got some audio samples we can drag and drop from the Finder as easily as we can from the browser here. And I could add this location to my devices, but I'm just going to drag and drop from the Finder here. So I'm going to take this one sample, and you can see here that this determines the vertical placement. And I'll put it all the way to the top for the moment. And it's mapped across the keyboard. And here you'll see that the oscillator that's added is a sample oscillator. If we look on this page here, we'll see that it's just the basic sample oscillator. So let's just get rid of this one for now. And we'll get rid of this. And we'll start over again. And I'm going to take all four of these. Now, as I drag them over here, we'll see the message saying hold Alt or Option for custom drop. So I'm going to hold Option down, and there's my custom drop message. I'm going to release the mouse, and I'm prompted with how I want to map these multiple samples. I can map them by note name, which will work fine here because I have the pitches in the name, and this is pretty standard. But we have a variety of other mapping options by velocity name, round robins, etc. Chromatic, white keys, black keys, and that's great for drum samples. But for now, we're just going to work with these basic 4 samples in the custom drop. And the destination is going to be layer 1. It's a new layer since it's a new instrument, but I can optionally import into a new layer if it's an already existing instrument. So let's hit OK. And there we see the 4 samples mapped to their specific keynote. And here again, we have this sample oscillator, and we have 4 of them, little 4 in brackets. But if I select one of them, we'll see the sample here displayed for that one. There's the sample for the next one, third, and the 4th. Now, if I want to view the mapping area in greater detail, I can zoom in or out horizontally using the plus and minus buttons at the bottom of the editor over here. And by doing that, it gives me greater ease of access if I want to click and drag to adjust the key group range of that. And we can click and drag from the top here as well to adjust the velocity ranges. But for now, I'll leave it full range. And we can also resize the whole mapping editor vertically by dragging the toolbar up or down. So just by that, I can make the whole thing bigger or smaller to work with. Now you'll notice that the toolbar above the mapping area displays details for the selected key group. And this one selected, we can see the root note, the key range, the velocity range, volume offset, panning, and fine tuning. And these can all be edited from here. And we can even select multiple key groups and edit multiple parameters together at the same time if we want to. Now, the obvious thing that I want to do now is spread these key group ranges out so that they cover the whole keyboard. Now, I could manually click and drag the left and right borders, but there's an easier way. I can select these all, and we have a menu here with a variety of mapping options. And we get the same menu if we right-click any of these key groups. So here, I'm going to choose Auto Extend Key Ranges. So now it's automatically mapped them across the keyboard, and I can play it. And they're all selected, of course, and we can see here the 4 samples are selected. We see the multiple selection indicators, but I can easily shift-click to change my selections, and I can click and drag and resize manually if I want to. Now, a couple of dragging conventions here. If we hold down the Command key before we start dragging the key group edge, we can fade the key range. We can do the same thing vertically for velocity. So I'm going to hold down Command, and you'll see here this dotted line indicating that there's going to be a fade. So the samples are getting softer during that range. And we can do the same thing when we're doing this vertically for the velocities. For example, here, Command, and then drag down, and we'll see the fade range there. And that's, of course, most useful if you have multiple velocity layers and you want to crossfade between the layers. So that's how it works. And that's the Control key on Windows. So that's a little introduction 101 to basic functions in the mapping editor, and we'll continue with more in the next video.